Hey, welcome to FixTheChat.com, or Kyle and Ian play versus system incorrectly. Or
Yeah.
Kyle. Sorry we're late this week. Kyle is back at work, which means we're back to being late every week.
Yay! To be fair, we were bonus late because the place at which you ordered your dinner was a bit delayed.
Yeah, there was all kinds of problems.
I added more to that time equation, but that was some. We might have been on time. That was at least 10 minutes. Would have gotten us closer. But we're here.
We're here! Yay!
We're here. We made it.
I am very slowly uploading our old streams, so that's in progress. I've got 52 up there, mostly reviewed. I had to do some editing in that one. That's the one where our camera cut out for a very long time.
Right.
The editing around it I did was funny, so you should check it out when I get up there. It should be the next... Yeah, probably this weekend.
Okay.
And what with my alternating D&D schedule, it gives me more time to get caught up.
That's
so
true.
It's not going to be too far behind. All I got to do is one a week, and that's progress.
That's right. One a week is progress.
During that video, we were talking about the terrible event in Titan Quest, and we should revisit that. But we should probably wait to see if Chris shows up, because he was interested in that.
Right.
The terrible event, which we way oversold.
We did.
That's a good segue to talk about video games. What else is going on? You're playing Grim Dawn.
Playing Grim Dawn. I'm enjoying it. I'm only about 14 to 15 hours in, maybe 16. It's definitely... I'm trying to think if there's a thing that I could say, this is better in Titan Quest.
In Titan Quest? I don't think there is.
Yeah, did Grim Dawn just improve everything, is the question.
I see what you're saying.
Or is there an element of it where, like, Titan Quest still sort of holds a crown?
I can say stuff.
Sure.
But maybe you can't. Titan Quest was better at supporting squishy ranged builds in the sense that Titan Quest didn't have any ridiculous, unmaneuverable close quarters arenas for bosses, and Grim Dawn has some.
Yeah.
So,
I haven't encountered anything too terrible yet. Like, there's a couple areas that have been a little cagey, but it might get worse.
Yeah, you're missing all this shit.
That's true. I'm missing all the shit.
Poop. Sorry.
Missing all the poop shit.
PG-13 stream. Family friendly. Ain't nobody here tonight. What's going on?
It's alright. They're late, too. We were late, and we got to give them some allowance on being late.
Did you want to say anything else about that? Just you're having a good time?
Yeah, I'm having a good time. It is a lot of fun. The progression is generally very satisfying. It's a little, we don't have to go into a tremendous amount of depth, I suppose, at this point. Maybe I'll wait until I have more, I'm a little farther in to make some more judgments. But I'm having a good time with it. It's definitely a solid experience if you're looking for an ARPG.
Did you make a devotion build plan like I suggested?
I've only gotten like one more devotion point, so I haven't dumped a ton of thought into that, though I've started... Every time I load it up, I look at a few more constellations, so I'm thinking about it.
All right, that's good.
I discovered one thing. I'll share one thing that's kind of interesting. So there is a ability that triggers on attack.
A ability.
That's like grammar. And it's one of the devotion skills that I get. It's an early one. It comes from a bat. You get the bat and you get bat fangs. Mm-hmm. So the build that I was doing was dot oriented. It turns out every tick of a dot is counted as an attack. So that's pretty cool. And I've been enjoying that. So,
that doesn't seem right. Are you sure about that?
Well, it's got a 20% chance of firing on attack. There have definitely been times when I am long done attacking and it just... And I think it's because I've struck things with my dot effects.
Huh.
I'm not sure if it's every dot that acts that way. It's associated only with a single skill.
Right.
You associate with a skill, which took me a minute to sort of figure out. Like, I put the point and it's like... And then a skill window came up and I'm like, this was supposed to be a skill. Why did the skill win? Is it on the list? No, it's not on the list. So I eventually figured that out. But when the dot on the skill I have associated with it seems to tick, there is a chance of it firing on the tick.
Interesting. Well, we learn new stuff every day.
Yeah.
I know that some of those skills can be assigned to pet attacks, which is kind of nuts.
Oh, that's interesting.
Chris told me that. Not any of the ones I wanted, though.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's cool. It's a good game. I like it. I've played it a heck of a lot.
You sure have.
I only finished the base game twice.
Not trivial.
Started recently. I think the last time we were streaming, I was talking about how I was playing again, and then stopped. I started
Did
playing.
you finish the game without the expansion once, and then the game with the expansion once? Is that how?
I have not ever finished the game with the expansion.
Oh wow!
Although I have played like probably like 90 to 95% through it.
What do you do? 5%.
I don't know. I make bad decisions. So I'm playing Slay the Spire again. Speaking of
which, yeah.
About 3 weeks ago, it might have been before our last stream, Kyle was talking about how he felt like the balance in the game had changed, and I remain unconvinced that was true. But he asked me to come back and look at it, and I came back and looked at it, and I had a heck of a time playing for a while, so I played around with it a bunch.
Yeah.
And I actually got back into it a little bit, so I played it for a few weeks. Playing the Ascension mode, which is one of the elements of the post-game content, which is like, for each Ascension mode, it adds another rule that makes the game more difficult in some way. And I have been able to play up through, as in getting to, but not completing, Ascension Mode 5 with the Ironclad, and Ascension Mode 4 with the Silent.
And the Ascension modes stack, right?
Mm-hmm.
So like if there's a rule for Ascension Mode 1, then 2 will add a rule, and you'll have the rule from 1 and the rule from 2.
I kind of hit a wall there, although while waiting to pick up Kyle this afternoon, I had a kind of successful rogue build going. Or I guess the makings of one. It wasn't there yet, but I had a lot of the right pieces that if I could just like get it, push it through a few more combats or something, it would really start to come together.
Yeah.
But you never know. You never know.
That is very true in that game. Everything's great until you lose.
So that's what I've been doing, but I will now be moving on to this. This
what
came
is
out
that?
today.
Oh, look at
Ni No
that.
Kuni 2. Yay, that should be exciting. This is the cheaper of the two collector's editions. I'm doing an unboxing video here while we're waiting for Chris.
Yes.
I don't know if Chris is going to be here tonight.
You can't have Chris every night.
And the content we have is, of course, the game, a steelbook, which I didn't open. Maybe there's something in here. A steelbook with a soundtrack in it. And this thing is a papercraft diorama with really tiny pieces that you can put together that I'm not going to be doing probably ever, but certainly not anytime soon because I'm not so good with the small pieces and putting things together kind of stuff. But it's cool. I'm glad it exists. So that's that. Let's see. What else can we talk about? We usually hit video games, and what's our other topic? Wow, am I that rusty? I'm just talking.
Well, we got. There's video
board
games.
Board games.
Yeah.
Anything to talk about board games? Not really. I've been playing D&D every other week.
That's been happening.
Yeah, it's okay. We had a big in-depth conversation. I actually was arguing on Chris's stream last night about it a little bit, and you and I had a big in-depth conversation about the kinds of things that we want to get out of the game, like players want to get out of the game, and some of the differences in expectations and styles from that. But I kind of feel like, unless you, Kyle, is particularly interested, or our audience, like Chris or Casey, is particularly interested, I don't feel like I feel like it's self-indulgent to kind of talk about my D&D game on the stream, because I could talk indefinitely about it, but it's only so much interesting.
Well, I guess it depends on the degree of specifics. We to some degree deconstruct things a little bit. That's part of the nature of it. We talked a little bit about player types, I suppose, and what players are getting out of RPGs a little bit.
Well, I mentioned to you, I felt like, we don't have to go through it now.
Yeah.
I felt like you had more to say in that conversation. It sounded like you were building to something, and then we got distracted by something, and the conversation ended.
The last thing that I remember saying is, to some degree, I felt that sort of an ideal scenario, which is, to be very clear, one that I would describe as either not quite possible or at the very least impractical, is the one of sort of the illusion of free will. It's sort of almost a life question, the philosophy of life. You know, do we have free will, or is it the illusion of free will? Is that enough? And I sort of apply that to to a role-playing scenario a little bit. Like, I think that, you know, if you feel like you're making choices and you feel like those choices matter, but they don't, what that allows the sort of content creator to do is create a super, super rich, high-fidelity experience. It's sort of a game development premise in general, where, you know, the narrower the hallway, the higher fidelity the hallway can be. Right? This is something, right. You know, you go back to like Resident Evil, which had a fixed camera. The environments looked amazing because they were...
quite a few fixed cameras, Kyle.
It did.
Just the one wouldn't have served it very well.
That's very true. The whole game played from one point of view. But, you know, that general approach to the camera angles allowed their environments to have a tremendous amount of fidelity, way ahead of the generation would otherwise allow for.
Well, that's because they were paintings.
Yeah, exactly so. But that is my point, which is... you know, with any game, the wider you make the hallway, the lower fidelity the world.
Well, it's interesting. So
there's a balance point.
We'll try to keep it brief, but if you'll indulge me, we'll go a little bit into philosophy of role-playing experiences, because I think you as a GM, like Kyle and I have never played together.
This is true.
And Kyle is way too busy to ever play with me.
That is true.
Most likely.
And that is a little sad. Maybe one day.
But I feel like the way Kyle talks about role-playing and GMing and that sort of thing in general makes me think I would enjoy an experience run by Kyle. However, I think we disagree on this point a little bit.
Yeah.
Because I feel like, or the ideal role-playing scenario for me is not that you're telling a story as my GM and I'm participating in it.
Right.
However much illusion you give me in terms of the meaningfulness of the choices.
Right.
But the ideal scenario for me is you and I are both telling a story together.
Sure.
And my
sort of an
I should react to your
collaboration,
contribution to the story as much as you should also react to my contribution to the story.
Right.
So I guess that was a little simpler than I didn't expect you to go right. So
yeah. Well, I mean,
end of discussion.
Yeah. I suppose I would say right in the sense I understand your point.
Right.
That is interesting. I wonder.
And it puts more. I understand that it puts a lot more burden on the GM.
Well, it does. It changes the dynamic conceptually. There's a conceptual change to that where, and this is where we talked a little bit, because some of the things that you enjoy about the RPG experience is the character creation aspect, not specifically stats or mechanically driven traits. Because some people really enjoy that. Some people enjoy rolling their stats, but you enjoy the narrative structuring and justification for a character's decisions.
Sort of. That's half true.
Okay.
I do enjoy
Which
it.
half?
However,
yeah.
My role-playing skill set is low enough that I rely on it. Like, I have to be able to do that to play a character well.
Right.
So it's part that, yes, I do get a kick out of it, but it's also part a crutch for me to succeed at playing a character.
Right. Well, but it's more than a crutch, because it's intrinsic to the success of the experience to some degree. Because when you create that structure, and you talked about this a little bit, I don't know if on stream or not, but when you create that character,
we haven't done that.
you put reciprocal hooks for the GM to play off. So there is part
There's
of
give
your
and take in a
creation,
language.
yeah.
Like, that's certainly part of the ideal experience, as I was describing it a moment ago. Is like, as I said, like, I'm going to give you some stuff to work with, you're going to give me some stuff to work with, but we both need to be prepared for the story to take any direction based on the unpredictable input of the other.
Right. That's true, and I certainly think It is fascinating, you know.
So I'm amused that we're getting into this. I didn't.
Well,
expect
but we, you know, we're talking about it at a level that is not exclusive to your specific
Sure.
experience. We're talking about it at the level that, you know, I think our game expertise to some degree affords for the conversation. And I think back a little bit to the one real campaign which I ran, which was in a system back in college that was my own conception, because that's what I do, and it was crazy and stupid but fun. And I do think that if we met in that middle ground, as you described it, I think the mechanical relationship between GM and player would be fine and healthy. But I also know that with the wrong player group as a GM, that can get you into hot water fast.
Oh, sure. No, this is very like the genesis of this conversation,
Right.
which is a rehash or a conclusion of a conversation Kyle and I were having offline a while ago.
Right.
Is the same as the genesis for the conversation I had with Chris on his stream last night, and that is that you and I both know, and I think it's pretty, you know, early knowledge you acquire when playing any sort of role-playing experience is that the success of a campaign, the success of a group, the success of a game is really one-to-one correlated with how well aligned what the
All
players
participants.
want to get out of it are. And
Yeah.
the GM too, to
Well,
a certain extent.
who
But most
is-
importantly, the players.
Right, I think-
And the reason it came up is, honestly, although I'm enjoying the campaign I'm in quite a bit, and there has been a little bit of friction in the motivations of the characters.
Yeah.
So I've been talking about it with people.
Right.
Because it's interesting to think about and work through.
Right.
And sadly, I'm middle-aged, so, you know, beggars can't be choosy. This is the first game I've had an opportunity to join in probably 6 years.
It's certainly not a poor experience. It's a good experience.
No, it's good. It's good. It's generally positive, better than ever.
It is significantly better than not having a
There
role-playing
are some rough
experience.
edges. But you should be careful because that's not true of all role-playing experiences. I've been in
Right.
role-playing experiences that were not better than not being
Right.
role-playing experiences.
Right. I was basing that primarily on the way you were talking about the experience. And I think something that's interesting about the way that you describe sort of your ideal relationship with a GM role is that process or that lens with which you view role playing actually turns the GM into more of a player. It's a player with a different rule set, certainly.
Sure.
But I think we often, when we think about role playing, we separate players from the GM, which is true and not true. It's very easy for the GM to start to think, oh, that we're the computer, right? In the modern context, like one side plays is the game, and the other people are playing the game. But in your ideal situation,
It's funny you should say that because one of the things I think is wrong with my current group is I feel like some of the players are treating it like it's a computer game.
right. Well, and again, that's sort of that alignment or not.
Oh, hey, Casey's here. Casey and not Chris. I don't think that's ever happened.
It's atypical. It's atypical. And yeah, I definitely think that there's separation, but I think the separation is not between player and GM in the sense that they're both players, but it's asymmetrical. They have different objectives, for sure. Like the players have narrative-based objectives, generally speaking. The GM is providing those objectives and facilitating the best possible experience in the players reaching or not reaching those objectives.
Oh, Chris
would
is
do
here.
Chris as
And
well.
he disagrees with you vehemently, or at least that's the tone of his.
That's
his
interesting.
text
You might not enjoy a game
which
where
I may
Chris
be
is
misinterpreting. Well, no, like one of the things we arrived at, like he was giving me a little guff yesterday because, and I think I would enjoy playing with Chris.
Right.
I really do.
Right.
But he and I view the game a little differently,
Right.
and everybody does.
Sure.
So it's. I mean, you're never going to
It's
find.
subjective.
You're never going to find the perfect group of people who want exactly the same thing. But you hope that each person is adaptive enough, or there's enough overlap that you can have a reasonably
Right.
good experience for everybody.
Right. I suppose I'd be curious, Chris, and maybe you're already.
He's probably busy.
But given an opportunity, and maybe this is an offline conversation, but I'd be intrigued to hear why so firmly a distinction between GM and player. Like, I certainly understand the argument that they have different objectives, that there's an asymmetry. But I think it is interesting to, like, we have the idea of a player character and what that means. And then the GM has a suite of GM characters, which are kind of player characters, which they're interacting with. I guess it just depends on... oh, okay. Yeah, cool. Good luck in your match, by the way. They're playing Heroes of the Storm, hopefully winning.
I too can read.
Yes, that's true, but our audience may not have picked up on that.
Well, it's right there in the... Yeah.
Does the chat show up in the YouTube video?
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. You have it up top. Yeah.
You know that. I mean, obviously you know
Yeah, you
this
see it
from
there,
how
yeah.
you watch every week when we upload the videos. You do that, right?
Well, on... I'll say busier streams, keeping up with the chat when you're listening to the experience.
I don't have a lot on this. A lot of the chat on the video capture, so it can, like, if our audience gets chatty, or if we ever have like more than 2 people here, it might be difficult to pick up on it while it's going on. So it is helpful to at least, indicate that you're responding to the chat. That's something I do poorly. Like sometimes I'll just be like, "Yes, Chris," blah blah blah, and it lacks context.
Right. It's a juggling act. So yeah, and what Casey's sort of observing here is that there's a separate set of responsibilities, and I'm making a philosophical case almost.
Sure.
But my philosophical case is I'm not sure I see a distinction between separate responsibilities and asymmetrical game design, like in general.
I think Kyle is using the term player a little more broadly.
Possibly.
I think that's what they're taking issue with. I think it's a semantics thing. I think Kyle is using player in the sense that the GM is a participant in the game.
Right.
And that's all he means by that.
Theoretically playing by a certain set of rules. It depends. Like, there is a system, in a sense, in a role-playing game, and more than in a sense, right? There's books about the systems. And so the GM is playing by rules similar to the player. Now, the case could be made, well, the GM can break the rules. That's GM prerogative is typically that they can deviate when they feel it'll benefit the experience. But when we talk about, like, a selection of, I think it's a broadness of terminology. Like, I would say the GM has a goal. They're playing to achieve that goal. They're interacting with other players. They're rolling dice. All of these pieces to me say, in a more abstract sense, that fits the requirement of being a player. They have different preparation requirements, perhaps. They even have different goals than the players might have, in that it could be seen that they're a facilitator. But they still have a set of goals. And they still have what is more of a sort of a qualitative win condition. I think GMs that view their win condition as quantitative may have issue. That's the kill all the players GM. Like, I want to kill them all, I'll show them. And I think that's the wrong mindset, but even that's subjective. But they still have an objective, is the point. And so, yeah, it's a very, very asymmetrical experience. I won't argue that. And, maybe it's not a valuable... yes, I have played with different GMs than Casey has. Perhaps maybe that is where the difference. He suggested that the GM's goal is to keep the players alive. I have played with GMs who do not believe that is the GM's goal.
Well, there's degrees, right? Like, if you put a lot of time and effort into making a character and the character dies immediately, that's not fun.
Right.
However, if the character has no risk, that's also not fun.
Right.
Like, the truth is somewhere in the middle.
Right. That's very true. It's very true.
Yeah, I agree with Chris there.
Yeah, no, I also agree. But like I said, I have played with players who enjoy the process of tormenting the players.
I'm not sure. My initial vibe for my current GM was that he was a little adversarial. Mm-hmm. And I think we're playing a module that is based on an old module that was a kill the players kind of module.
I said even a module.
But I'm not... Well, Chris was telling me this the other day, and I knew, but we were talking about it the other day. I mean, yesterday on Chris's stream.
Right.
Like, the genesis of Dungeons & Dragons and role-playing, for the most part, came out of... it was an evolution of miniatures war games.
Right.
So it was originally all mechanics-focused and all about one person killing another person, or one group of people killing another group of people. So that became... what, at the time in the 70s or whatever, Dungeons & Dragons, which was sort of an adaptation of those rules to have some more flavor and player choice in it.
Right.
But realistically, back then, it was still about, like, murder everybody. And
Right.
Gygax was famous for wanting to kill people with his modules, and I don't know why, but that's something that is known about him.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah. Yeah, and ultimately, I'd be curious to hear sort of the case of the distinction between, like, how you guys are defining players that it wouldn't apply to the GM. I think different goals. I can think of other games where players have different goals and play by different rule sets where there's asymmetry. So I don't think that alone is the distinguishing. And I believe that there is a criteria out there, but I'm curious as to what that GMing is a job. That's interesting.
Yeah, that still goes on, Chris. Even like that's that's sort of about. That's one of the reasons I don't particularly love
coach on a ball team. That's an interesting comparison.
modules.
It's good.
When we're having this is weird. I'm
Yeah, we're
having a
having
conversation
parallel
with Chris in the chat, and you're having a conversation with Casey in the chat at the same time, and that's not working very well.
Yeah, that's true. Now, I do think that was an interesting point. I'm going to have to think about that. That's a strong argument. I've got to consider the idea that the GM is like the coach on a ball team.
So I define what my ideal player experience is. Then let me take a stab at defining what my ideal GM is like. Who is not what my current GM is like, and probably not what you're like as a GM. But my ideal GM is someone who, the elements that you bring to the table are part of it. Like, I'm going to tell an interesting story, I'm going to engage a player, the narrative is going to be compelling and whatnot. However, part of the GM's responsibilities, and an important part, is understanding what his players want to get out of the game and making sure that those desires are served. And obviously, you're going to have some conflicts because people also want different things out of the game, but sort of making sure everybody has a little bit of what they enjoy out of it. Like for me, the GM's role is to make sure the experience is enjoyable.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
No, it's true. Well, you weren't. It isn't. Chris discusses Chris discusses Dungeons and Dragons with Ian. It's Chris plays Secret of Mana, and nobody else was chatting at the time, so I have a feeling that we were kind of monopolizing the conversation there a little bit yesterday.
Yeah, funny.
Anywho.
Yeah, I do think it's
do you guys in chat have any more points? I want to kind of push us along because we're...
Yeah, that's fine.
We started late and we've been talking a while.
No, Casey made an interesting point about the closest parable he could think of was that the...
Yeah, well, your chat's so quiet. You always end up talking to me.
That the... we're doing it again. Was that the coach on a baseball team arguably interacts with the team during the game, but isn't a player in the game, which is interesting. I guess the only sort of conceptual counterpoint I can think of to that is that the coach relies upon the players to change the game state, and the ability to affect the game state includes the GM, which is where that line potentially gets a little bit blurred, but it's still an interesting point. Maybe there's not a direct comparison.
Yeah. No, so it sounds like Casey and I are pretty aligned on the expectations, the GM's role, anyway.
Yeah.
And Chris is just to clarify for our audience, and this is probably scrolling by way too fast that anybody can follow.
Yeah. That's what happens in a good chat.
The discussion I had with Chris yesterday, which is he is topping off or reiterating today, is that I made the argument, and I'm in the wrong. I agree with Chris. The argument that I didn't make an argument, but I said, like, what I want to get out of the game, the things that I have outlined here in this discussion, are not very well aligned with Dungeons and Dragons. Dungeons and Dragons is a set of rules that's mostly about killing stuff, and that's not necessarily what I'm all about. And Chris's criticism or observation is that the system sort of implies a type of experience that's different from the experience that I want. And my counter argument is, well, I feel like the experience can transcend the rule. Like sure, like I don't expect to have a D&D game that has no combat, but I feel like or the argument I always make, and I think I made it on Chris's stream, and I probably made it even on our stream before, is like, if you want to play a competitive combat game that has no role playing, it has none of the flavor or none of the decision making or open endedness that role playing or even Dungeons and Dragons, as combat focused as it is, has, you should play a miniatures game like Descent or like Gloomhaven, because they are better at that and they're nothing else.
Well, or even like a Warhammer or something.
Or like, exactly.
Which is a purely tactical experience. Potentially so. I guess Warhammer doesn't have to be, but it can be. You can play just single scenarios.
Yeah. And I do like 5th edition's rules, even their combat rules. They've simplified a lot of things. Although I said on Chris's stream, and I'll reiterate again, I really dislike one of the big evolutions, and I didn't play 4th edition, so maybe this happened in 4th edition, but it's certainly true in 5th edition. One of the big evolutions is it's really easy for players to recover hit points now, which was not the case in 3rd edition and before, which means that every trap and enemy has to be really, really deadly because it has to kill you in one shot.
Interesting.
And that's unfortunate.
Yeah, that sounds.
It feels
like
very
a great
volatile. Like
experience,
it got more volatile because of that.
Indeed.
I think Gloomhaven's a more interesting experience.
Role-playing Candyland sounds interesting. That was an idea that was brought up earlier. That does sound better than role-playing Chutes and Ladders. That sounds like a dreadful experience.
Well, yeah, so, alright, fair enough, Casey. Like, short of magic items, though, I mean, like, in 3.5 you still needed to, take a month off to recover your full hit points, right? Sans magical intervention. However, in 5th edition, you need to take a break for an hour.
Right.
Which seems like too far of an overcorrection to me.
Right. Like maybe just a sleep or rest overnight kind of thing.
Even that, or like, I would argue less than that. Like, anyway,
take a nap.
We should get to gaming or we should get to playing some verse system because
Yeah.
we've gone way over our discussion time.
That's all right.
And Chris, I'm gonna push something on from this week. So Chris, don't let us forget. We were going to talk about the really, really awful experience in Titan Quest that we had talked about 4 streams ago or so.
Yeah.
That you were really interested in. Because Kyle did or kind of didn't experience it, and there's stuff worth talking about there.
We could do the 2-minute version. You want to completely
No,
review?
I don't. It's not going to be 2 minutes. We don't do 2-minute versions of things. So we'll revisit that next stream.
Okay.
And I mean it. Let's play some cards.
Yeah, fair enough.
I can appreciate that. Like, that has always been a problem with a cleric is they were kind of a healing battery.
Alright. So the deck you have selected this evening so far is on A deck.
Why did you say that like that? That was weird.
Oh god, it's a napkin.
Okay.
Not just any napkin, but a flying napkin.
Okay. We'll play some Versus System.
That was the flying napkin.
Yeah,
Oddly
it's
sounded
fun,
like a ghost.
fun topic. So, like, we're not really doing anything interesting board gaming wise, so maybe we'll discuss with our audience, who got way more involved than they usually do, a little bit of D&D
apparently the
philosophy in the future streams.
Yeah, apparently the notion that the GM was a player struck a chord with our audience. That's what you want.
I think it struck a nerve.
You say tomato.
I didn't say tomato.
You love tomatoes.
I hate tomatoes.
That struck a tomato with Ian. Nothing like a striking tomato. Unless you prefer a dashing tomato. Like we both cut towards you. That was interesting.
I'm important.
You're an important man.
That might just be
With an
one of those things
tie.
that, like the way we
face our cards.
exhaust. It just might be complete coincidence.
It's so good. So good. Who's rolling? Should I roll?
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm going to do it. I'm going to name the outer die. I have lost
I have
soundly.
mulliganed. Oh, these. I think these guys are evens. I think.
Goodbye,
Boy,
cards.
why are you being uncooperative? This is not a good start for me.
This is indeterminate, but it's better than none, so we'll see what happens. I need to read this card, however.
Well, that's cool, guys. I'm talking to the chat again.
Yep.
I am talking to the chat. I appreciate it.
I am going to recruit Archangel.
Uh-oh.
When Archangel comes into play, you may discard a card, which I will. If you do, search your deck for an X-Corp card, reveal it, put it into your hand, and shuffle your deck.
It's not going to go well for Ian, I think.
We're going to search for a very particular card. That card will be Worthington Industries, which is in fact an X-Corp location, which it says in 5 minutes. It's very weird because all the other X-Corps say it in the title, and this one just has like that little version there. And that goes into my hand. It's not particularly consequential. And then assuming... So did you go odds or evens? You went evens?
I went evens.
So I recruit Archangel. Did you recruit nobody?
I'm not going to recruit anyone. So
I'm
you're
going
going
to
for 2?
just attack you for 2, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm also going to offer
boy,
you
oh
the cut.
boy, this is something. This is something.
And then lastly, this does not affect you doing anything, but I'm actually going to flip up my location as well, which is X-Corp Paris. Look at the top X cards of your deck, where X is the number of X-Corp locations you control, which is 1. Put any number of those cards on the bottom of your deck, and the rest on the top in any order. So I get to see if I want this card, and I do. And then I draw my 2.
Boy, I don't know. I don't know what to do with this.
What is your initiative?
I think I'm going to recruit Wasp to my visible area, but I don't love that.
That's reasonable.
Wasp's power is that she's concealed optional, and she is a leader. Her leader power is team attackers adjacent to Wasp cannot be stunned.
I see. Dear, by the way, you should pick a quesadilla. I'm hungry. Do you want the pepper quesadilla or the not pepper, or do you want to divide and conquer?
Divide.
Okay. We're going to divide quesadillas. I am going to...
know that.
Yeah, everyone was curious. I'm going to recruit Dazzler. Your character is visible, you said?
Yes.
Dazzler says whenever a character I control team attacks, target opponent loses 1 endurance. Is that the pepper one? I don't know.
I'm going to attack Arkham.
That's a lot of food.
Yeah, that's going to work. I will take 2. I'm not going to attack back. That would be foolish.
Ha!
But I'm going to flip up X-Corp Hong Kong.
Honk honk.
No, I could have done that. Is that true? I should have done that. I'll save it. Maybe it'll be relevant later. I'll look at one thing, one card. I want that card. Put it on top.
Boy, I sure wish that Wasp was hidden. Turns out.
Right on.
I knew, man, what a situation. I knew that was a possibility.
It's my initiative. I am going to put...
Those are clean dishes, right?
Yes, dear. Those are clean dishes. I'm going to recruit Zorn, lovable scamp that he is. Zorn says that I may pay 0 endurance to recover target stunned character I control. I can only use this power once per turn, and only during the recovery phase. And I will form like that.
This is gonna be a disaster. happen? Why did it happen? I gotta do this actually. Turns out, nothing's good. Why is everything terrible?
It's my secret weapon.
What does your X-Corp do?
My X-Corp, I activate to look at the top X cards in my deck, where X is the number of X-Corp locations I control. I can put any back and cycle the ones I don't.
I'm going to lose. I'm going to recruit Natasha Romanoff, Black Widow. She is a reservist, and her power is, while Natasha Romanoff is team attacking, whenever she stuns a defender, you may stun target character with cost 3 or less.
I'm glad that I currently possess initiative. It's going to be very useful. Whenever she sends someone while team attacking.
I sure wish Wasp was hidden. I would be in this game.
That would be useful. That would be useful.
This guacamole has cilantro in it.
Yeah, I would not like the guacamole, please. I am going to attack Wasp with Zorn. For 4.
Mm-hmm.
Because that is what I do.
I will take 3.
You fell for it. You took 3 damage.
Do you want utensils?
Nope.
Come on, guys, we're streaming here. I'm gonna attack Archangel. Power up.
Attack Archangel and power up. Now I'm going to flip this card. X-Corp Hong Kong. Activate. Target X-Men... yes, right. X-Corp Hong Kong. Target X-Men character you control and all other characters you control at the same cost to get +1 attack this turn. I will choose the cost of Archangel to give him +1 attack for the turn. And then I do take 3, 4 damage. 3 damage. 3 is the damage. Thank you, dear. I have a quesadilla.
I tried to make sure there was no cilantro.
Thank you, honey. I don't have any tricks in this. I'm going to attack you for 3.
They sprinkled all of them.
I'm going to leave the top 2 cards of my deck. Like this one. And this one. I don't want this card. How do I have to do this? Put any number of those cards in the bottom of your deck. And attack with this one.
Actually, that's a good deal. It's funny. Funny how that happened.
And now, as they say, it is Ian's initiative.
Yep. Well, I'm going to recruit. Oh no. I'm sorry. That's what I meant to do.
That's a better choice here. Though I don't think you having 5 resources is a good choice.
Fine, I'll have 4. That's actually not that good then.
It's way better when you had that extra resource.
I thought I put her in my resource row, which I did initially.
I see.
And then
But we're sorted.
I saved it for the power up instead, and now I don't have her. And I'm saying, God, why is everything terrible? I'm gonna recruit Holly Granger, Hawk. When Holly Granger comes into play, if you don't control Dawn Granger, you may search your deck for a card named Dawn Granger for the version Avatar of Order. Put it in your front row and shuffle your deck. This is going so badly.
Blackwater is a good card to have against my deck, though.
I would really like some near curve characters, or to spend my resource points, or 2 characters. You know, not picky.
Fair.
Where are you? You're in here. There you are. Dawn Granger's power is, while Dawn Granger is team attacking, attackers get +1 attack.
We're having a team attack off here.
You are winning.
Well, so far, you're going to get some extra stuns this turn. That'll help.
There you go.
Alrighty. I'm going to recruit Psylocke. This is big. That's useful. Big Psylocke. She has discard a mental card. Negate target effect from a non-ongoing plot twist. Uses power only once per turn, and only if a mental character is attacking or defending. She is the only mental character I have in play at the moment.
Well, unsurprisingly, I have two worlds, which is a team up that has a cool power. If I have another one of them, not a cool power, I would be able to draw a card.
That's pretty cool.
So I team up the Teen Titans and the Avengers.
The Avengers, that's who you're going to team them up with. I figured out your strategy.
The Playroom. Whenever a defender becomes stunned by one or more Avengers team attackers I control, that defender's controller loses 4 endurance. Then, I'm gonna team attack probably Dazzler with everyone. Yeah, that's right.
That's legit. That is legit. I don't have a I don't have a way to stop that. I will attempt to deal the damage to Black Widow, I suppose.
I'd be in such good shape if I had one.
That'd be real bad.
And I will stun Zorn. So you're going to take much more than that because you take 4 from the Playroom and 3 from Zorn as well.
Yes. 3 from Zorn, 4 from the Playroom.
And then I lose the rest of my team.
Yeah. I'm going to attack Holly for 8.
Okay. I will take 8.
You can do anything with Adon.
Nope.
I will flip up X-Corp Amsterdam. It's got 2 powers. I can activate KO it to search for a team up. Not going to happen. It also has activate to give an X-Men character I control a single defense for the attack. I'll also give him 1 attack. I'll attack you as a 3/2 with Archangel.
I think we can call it.
Fair enough.
That was a terrible draw.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. Did have to lose Dazzler that turn. Didn't have any of my recovery.
Oh no, you would lose a 1-drop. That's terrible.
She's a 2-drop. Also the linchpin to damage, but yes, the advantage was significant.
Woof.
Yeah, Carol would have been pretty important on turn 4.
Let's do that again.
Okay.
That was a bad showing of the Titangers.
Fair enough. I think the Titangers is, under a normal draw circumstance, has an advantage in this matchup, so it was a very weird outcome.
I don't think so.
Between Carol and Black Widow.
Well, you say that, but I'm also vulnerable to you having lots of small characters. You're
strong against that exact scenario, though, because you're popping my characters and stunning extra characters on your attack. So I guess it depends. Like, well, I guess we'll see how it plays out.
As long as I can team attack, which is not if you keep my characters under control, which the only thing you have to do is have lots of characters, which is what that deck does.
I suppose that's true. Are you on curve until?
I'm not on curve at all.
Okay.
I'm never on curve, or I can be on curve.
Right.
I play ideally behind curve.
Yeah. I guess we'll see how it plays out. I will wish you a better draw.
Me too.
You have the advantage of starting at 50 life, unlike some of us. That will work in my favor. Oh, damn it. Shouldn't have said that out loud. I will declare the outer die. I did lose again.
That's a better start. That's a much better start. Oh, is that so much a better start?
I'm going to ditch. start is less good. I assume you went to evens again? Is that true? Okay. I do not have a 1-drop.
I've got Beast. When Beast comes into play, you may discard an Avengers character card. If you do, search your deck for a team-up, reveal it, and put it in your hand and shuffle your deck. I will search my deck for...
I think I've lost this game. This is going to be the reverse.
It could be.
Alright, then I guess we're even.
Is your draw bad?
It's okay. But just okay.
We'll see. Generation Next, the card with the typo on it.
Sweet. I love a good typo.
And there goes in my hand, and then Beast hits you for 2.
I'll take it.
Yeah, I'm going to be in pretty good shape here momentarily.
Alrighty. Turn 2.
I'm Natasha Romanoff.
I have Long Shot, also a resource. While I'm at it. Long Shot has pay 0 on turns. Look at the top 4 cards of your deck, put 2 of those cards on the bottom of your deck, and the rest on the top of your deck in any order. Uses power only once per turn and only during the recovery phase.
I will play the team up. This team up has an ongoing power that lets me exhaust a Teen Titans character to give characters I control flight and range this turn. And then I will team attack Long Shot. That's it.
That'll work. I will attempt to deal damage to your bigger character. For the extra damage. Okay. What is my initiative? What can we make of that? We can make Zorn of that. Remember, Zorn pays 0 endurance to recover a stunned character I control. I can only use his power once per turn and only during the recovery phase.
Bumblebee is cosmic. Bumblebee's power is whenever Bumblebee stuns a character while team attacking, that character's controller loses 3 endurance.
This is a bit of a situation.
I searched. Okay. 10 cards. Is that right? Yeah, we're okay.
I guess Zorn attacks Bumblebee.
Okay. It will work. I'll take 4. My team attack, Long Shot.
Yeah. Do something with Long Shot that is cool. I don't think so. Yeah, that's gonna work. I'm gonna attempt to deal the damage to the same person I did last time. You're gonna, of course, stun Zorn. I will pass. I do have a recovery card. Play only during the recovery phase. I may discard a card. If I do, recover any number of stunned X-Men characters with a combined cost of 3 or less. And I am going to ditch
This draw is so weird.
something. Boy, I don't know what to ditch. I think the way I do is a slightly different order, which is I just play this first, which is Worthington Industries, which I activate to reveal the top 3 cards of my deck. I can put a revealed X-Men character card into my hand, and the remaining cards at the bottom of my deck. If I drew a card this way, I must discard a card. So it just lets me see what's coming. I have to reveal them. Reveal the top 3. I can put a character card into my hand. I will put the 4-drop, unsurprisingly. And the rest on the bottom of my deck. And then I discard a card, and I will discard Jubilee, because I put something in my hand. And then I will play this, and I will discard... good cards. Boy, those are good. Gotta do it, or I'm gonna fall so far behind. I guess we'll discard that one. Okay. And then I recover someone and recover, yada yada. And then I draw 2 cards because it's my turn. Sorry about that. No, that was a bit tedious.
It's fine.
It is your initiative on turn 4.
I do have Carol.
Ruined. I think she just beats my deck. Because I stop at 5, so you can bounce everything I do every turn from here on out. It's gonna be a real bad.
You do not. Don't you have?
Nope.
What is?
Nope. They're all 5. I do have Psylocke. Another card, your ongoing gives you flight and range.
If I exhaust a character, it does.
Yeah. Make you do it.
Well, I'll exhaust Beast. And I will team attack Psylocke. I didn't read Carol Danvers. I should.
You should read her.
Carol Danvers' power is when Carol Danvers is team attacking, whenever she stuns a defender with cost 5 or less, return that defender to its owner's hand. That's why Kyle doesn't like her.
That is why I suspected your deck was a hard counter to mine. I'm going to play Memory Probe from my hand as an additional cost to play it. Exhaust a mental character you control. The top X cards of your deck, where X is the cost of the character you exhausted. Put one of those cards into your hand, and the rest on the bottom of your deck. It's probably that one. That's weird. It will be that one. And then it's going to work. So I'll deal the damage to Carol. Then I will take 4, and she is bounced. And 3. Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Take 7. 34. Attack Beast. I'll make you lose Beast. That'll show you.
No, not Beast. That'll work. I will take 2.
initiative. I guess I'll activate Worthington Industries and see what happens. Top 3 cards. Any characters go in my hand, the rest go on the bottom of my deck. That was cool. That is my one hope. I'm going to recruit Wolverine. Wolverine is weak on defense, strong on offense, and whenever he's stunned, he's a free recovery. And we'll form like that.
I'm going to recruit Jarvis. Whenever Jarvis becomes a defender, you may return him to his owner's hand. If you do, search your deck for an Avengers character card, reveal it, and put it in your hand, and shuffle your deck.
That was fortunate. Can't even make anything of it. Being team attacked by Jarvis would suck. I'm going to play Extreme Maneuver. Play Extreme Maneuver only during your attack step. As an additional cost to play Extreme Maneuver, exhaust 2 X-Men characters you control. Exhaust target character. That character cannot ready this turn and its controller loses endurance equal to its cost.
Why would you do that?
I will target Carol Danvers. And I'm going to attack Black Widow.
Yup, I'm going to take a lot. I'm going to take 11. I'm going to have flight and range this turn.
Touche.
How?
I have to, like, kill you in 2 turns or I think I have lost, but I might be able to kill you in 2 turns. That's what I'm banking on. Because you are out Carol Danvers for 2 turns. She may not ready this turn.
She can't ready this. Oh, man, that friggin' plot.
It's a jerk. It is my one great hope. I will fire Longshot's power. Look at the top
That's the
4
one I was
cards.
complaining about, because it's 3 powers for no cost.
It's a lot. Well, 2 exhausts. But low cost.
2 exhausts, I guess that's
Yeah.
reasonable. Yeah.
It's shitty,
fine.
but poopy. It's poopy. Pays your endurance. Look at the top 4 cards of your deck. Put 2 of those cards on the bottom of your deck, and the rest on the top of your deck in any order. What does one do with this? I guess one does that. It is now your initiative, however.
Actually, not entirely sure what to do here.
Ah, it caused you to think.
I got some options. I think I just recruited Captain America. Captain America is a leader, and his power is Avengers attackers adjacent to Captain America cannot be stunned, and Avengers defenders adjacent to Captain America get +2/+2.
Pretty good. Okay. Okay. Okay.
Okay.
It's about to get really difficult for me.
Okay.
I am going to recruit Cyclops and Angel. Archangel. Cyclops has, whenever a character adjacent to Cyclops attacks, target opponent loses 2 endurance. Wolverine, we already know about. Archangel has, when he comes into play, I may discard a card to search for an X-Corp card. We'll do that. Reveal it, shuffle.
I'm going to formula it differently, if you don't mind.
Yeah, that's fine. I do anything about what to search for. And I will search for Honk Honk. X-Corp Honk Honk.
Honk honk.
Where the heck is X-Corp Honk Honk? It's the top card of the deck. I wonder if I only have one of them. That'd be weird. Must have missed
Why
it.
would you only have one honk honk?
I think you'd want all the Honk Honk you could
Yeah,
get.
honk honk is great, man.
It's the finest of things. And that is, of course, in my hand.
Wow, your deck is so tiny. Are you sure that's a whole deck? That looks very small.
Well, I don't know. I've drawn some cards, but it is feeling small. Maybe I'll have to check later. Maybe something fell out of it. This one is my hand. I'll check after the stream.
Sure, sure.
I do need to think about formation, though. You have initiative. You also have Captain America. These are annoying things. Something like... The old U formation. We haven't seen that in a while.
It's pretty typical for 5 characters.
Yeah, I guess so. We'll try this, see what happens. Honk honk.
I think I have to exhaust Jarvis to give everybody flight and range, and then do I have to activate him to do his thing? No.
Oh.
Then I team attack Cyclops.
Boy, that's painful. I'm going to exhaust Cyclops to play Time Breach. As an additional cost to play it, exhaust an X-Men character you control. Search your deck for up to 2 X-Men character cards. With a combined cost of 3 or more, reveal them, put them into your hand, shuffle your deck, and discard a card. We're going to search for Archangel. And Dazzler. I will then discard Archangel. Okay, is there anything else cool that I can do?
What did you discard?
Archangel.
What?
I must discard a card. So
you put 2 in your
I
hand
search
and
for
discard.
2 up to a combined cost of 3, and then you can discard a card.
Weird. Okay.
So I could hypothetically discard a different card, but we'll get rid of Archangel for now. My increasingly tiny deck. It does feel light. Yeah, I'm probably cheating.
Something weird there. Well, probably not in your favor.
That's
if it's
probably
missing some
true.
cards.
Then it's probably true. And Time Breach is played. Do anything else that's cool and amazing. Your attack is a gajillion.
There's like
Defense ain't
15.
trivial. So I have to deal the damage to the small character, unfortunately.
Can't deal the damage to any character. Well, you can deal it to Captain
I
America.
can't be... I can deal the damage, but they're unstunnable, right?
Natasha's unstunnable. Captain is stunnable.
Oh, that's so bad. So good. Yep, that'll just work.
No stuns on.
I take 8.
I still think you're going to win.
Yeah, we'll
If
see.
only because you have initiative next turn and you can really hit me hard to do a
gonna
game
matter.
soon.
But I am in bad shape right now.
I need 2 turns to kill you, and I don't think I'm going to get them.
Right. The weird thing is, I guess my best play is to try to deal you as much damage as possible. How do I do that?
It's not easy.
It's not.
Hey, oh, hey, oh, hey.
Alright, so Jarvis's power is he pops to your hand and searches for someone if I attack him.
That is
Probably
true.
shouldn't attack Jarvis.
I don't know who I get. Although I'd welcome the opportunity to look at him, figure it out.
Yeah, you get some good options for sure. So I could attack Carol. But Carol stuns Wolverine back, which I'm not hugely keen on. It's still a net gain for me. So I guess my best opening play is to attack... yeah, you could have ready team attackers. Oh, that'd be a disaster. Can I do anything about it? No. Yeah, I'm going to attack Black Widow for 2.
Black Widow is +2/+2.
Oh,
Sure you want to do that?
God, nope. Man, I am hosed. But so is Carol Danvers.
Mm-hmm.
How do I stand a chance? Maybe it's still just swing at Carol with Wolverine? Oh, that's terrible. How much does that gain me? It doesn't even gain me much. I would swing through for... My attack is 11. Your defense is 8. That's 3 breakthrough. I deal you 7. You deal me 5. I guess that's a gain. Lord. I could team attack Cap for 6. Still gets me a smaller gain. I think that's the better play. That's ridiculous. I'm going to team attack Cap. 13.
You look at my useless cards again.
Mm-hmm.
Remind myself that they are still useless.
I'm with you.
They are in fact useless. Yeah, I will stun Wolverine.
Yeah, take 5. He is a free recovery, but I think that was the better play.
Pass.
Now we attack Black Widow.
Yep.
And I do have a X-Corp Amsterdam to give a character +1 defense this attack.
I think
Took me a while to see that.
can't catch a break.
Wolverine's a free recovery. And you are at 13. I do have another Angel of Mercy to get my Zorn back. And I think that might matter. So we're doing
it. It's my resource.
Mm-hmm.
Then what?
Did forget to do long shot. That's okay. We're past that point as I have drawn. Let's just for giggles fire Worthington Industry though and see if anything comes up as top 3 cards. I can put a character into my hand and then discard a card. I may put one. I won't bother with one. Just do. Yeah, you know what? That was a lie. We're going to put Wolverine in my hand. I do have to discard a card. I will discard. That is activated. Okay. Turn 7. Great. What's that mean? I've got Psylocke and Dazzler. Dazzler is...
You have no Blackbird, and that's the only thing that means I might be in this game.
Yeah, it's interesting. I'm going to be able to kill you, but I've got to form in a way where I can kill you and then be able to survive afterwards. That is the situation that I face. Because you are going to have some damage to send back in my direction. Reinforce. So I need him as a reinforcer.
Hermadurga
Murpha.
Hermadurga Murpha?
Yeah. Really, all that matters is reinforcing and attacking and killing you. Only those two things and nothing else. Yeah, we'll call it. Got 2 cards in my hand, 2 cards face down, and an exhausted Worthington Industries.
I'm going to play Two Worlds, which is a team-up that says, choose 2 team affiliations among characters you control. If you chose Avengers and a different affiliation, and you control another resource named Two Worlds, draw a card. And I'm going to play another copy of it. Oh, God. Did I just ruin that? That would be really sad.
I cannot imagine a scenario that you could have ruined by drawing a card. That is strange.
We'll see. So then what I do is I play the Herald with his boost. The Herald's cosmic power is defenders I control have reinforcement, and his boost is when the Herald comes into play. If you don't control Bumblebee, go get her.
I think peculiarly we're in a situation where I guess the reinforcement could still matter, but it will matter less. Oh no.
I drew my Bumblebee.
Oh my god! That is unthinkable.
I should not have played Two Worlds.
You should not have played Two Worlds.
I'm gonna look again.
You might have another Bumblebee. Would you like a cup of water? I'm grabbing a cup of water.
Oh no.
That is extremely
I
unfortunate.
rarely put fewer than 2 copies of anything in a deck. Do I have her in my resource row? Do I have 2 of them in my hand? What's going on?
What's happening here?
I can't imagine I have just the one. Is she in the box?
Sorry, you keep making noise.
It's okay, dear. You can make a little noise. It's your home.
Oh, that's a disaster. That's so disastrous. And it wouldn't have happened if I didn't play Two Worlds. That's so terrible.
That is a very unlikely thing to foresee.
Oh, man.
There's an age-old adage. To fail, choke on corn chips.
Careful not to do that.
Dear, where's the brown paper bag
So,
with the toothpaste? Okay, we don't know.
What?
it's not what I wanted, but let's say... Are you okay?
Pardon
you
me.
dying?
I will live, but I definitely had a wrong pipe moment.
Let's say I don't pay his boost.
Never mind.
I can make this work a little less effectively without the boost. But I don't pay his boost.
Okay,
Then
it's fair enough.
I still need to shuffle because I leave it.
Yeah.
I guess I didn't. Maybe, I don't know. Anyway,
You have
it's
shuffle
not as-
decision.
Then I recruit from my
Real
resource
good cut I
row,
just did there. I know how to cut cards.
Natasha Romanoff. And then I recruit Beast.
Beast.
And I sure would have liked Bumblebee instead.
That would have hurt more.
I guess I can put stuff in there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay.
How dost thou fly?
So the formation is like this, like this, like this, and oh, it's so terrible. It's so terrible. Like this.
Like a diss.
lose a lot.
My odds just went up.
So much. How did I draw the one copy of the card I was going to boost to search for? That is statistically unlikely.
That is a fine question.
So that is my formation.
Yeah. All right, I'm going to review my cards real quick because this is a card that I have. This is also a card that I have. I'm trying to figure out if my best play is to team attack Jarvis and ping you for a ton of damage, and then all my characters are ready if you pop him.
That's true.
Because you're reinforced anyway. And it's not getting much attack off the table, but there's not much attack I can take off the table. So that begs an alternative question. So you're reinforced. I can't deal breakthrough. Your formation is going to make this extremely challenging.
That was the plan.
Yeah.
Only also Bumblebee should be here.
Right.
I guess
Right.
that would be in place of Romanov, which is... There's arguments for either.
It would be in place of Beast, I suppose, right? Like, the peculiar case is I'd actually deal you more damage
his boost
stunning
is
Bumblebee.
2, so it would have to be in place of her.
I see. Right. So... It was not obvious.
I can't believe I drew Bumblebee.
That is
So
absurd.
dumb.
That is absurd.
It's a whole game I was trying to make my resources do something useful. And they're like, joke's on you, we're going to ruin your plan.
So...
What?
I sure wish I had more flight than just what's on Archangel right now. That's an issue.
Well, like I said, you not getting the Blackbird was really important
Yeah,
in my position.
that's definitely... So my options are... I really have two core options. I try to hit through to cap and waste a bunch of attack but ping you for a bunch. Or I try to get through to the Herald and somehow still have enough attack left to make that matter. I think I punched through Romanov. I think I just have to punch through her. So now do I use a bunch of attack to try and capitalize on ping? So for example, if I attack with, say, Archangel and Dazzler, hypothetically, that would ping you for 6 immediately.
That's a lot of ping.
It's a lot of ping. I would then stun Romanov, presumably. Even with your stat boost, I'm over you. It's 2-2.
Mm-hmm.
It naturally comes from there. So that's cool. But yeah, that leaves me in a pretty good defensive posture. That's probably the best play. Not going to have a lot of good options after that, though. All right, well, we're going to try it that way. Here we go. Dazzler and Archangel are attacking Natasha Romanov.
Okay, it'll work. I take 6 immediately, you say.
Pinger 6. So to be clear on where that's coming from,
I
whenever a
understand.
character adjacent to Cyclops attacks, target opponent loses 2 endurance. And Dazzler says whenever a character I control team attacks, the opponent loses 1
So
endurance.
I stun her.
So, yeah. I do have 1 defense on the board, so I need to think about if I put that on Dazzler or not. You might have a way to counter that, but it might be worth it. Because keeping Dazzler around is annoying.
My attack is 5.
Your attack is 5, so 1 defense wouldn't matter. That's true. And actually, now that I look at it, her defense is 2 and your attack is 3, so even if you didn't have those bonuses. So I guess that's going to work.
I will take 2 from that as well.
Yeah, so I took 2. I am at 19. I feel like that was my best choice, but I don't love it.
I have to hit Cyclops.
Yeah, that's probably
With Captain
true.
America.
That's probably true. Boy, there's a card I wish that I had that I do not have. It's sad because you're going to deal breakthrough.
That's the
That
plan.
is not what I want. Right. I see what you're doing. You're attacking Cyclops. I'm with it. Yeah, it's just going to work. So I take 5 and 3 breakthrough, which is 8. Okay.
I think this is going to be a really close game.
Yeah, this is rough. The fact I can't deal breakthrough is pretty bad. So how can I make things more awkward for you in that circumstance? You still have Cap. That's a problem.
Oh, I'm sorry. I should have exhausted Natasha's
I
flight.
assumed you did, even though you didn't say
I
it.
didn't
So
say it.
that is true. So I'm glad that we clarified. But we were on the same page. So, man, Cap is a big problem. I could team attack Cap. That has advantages. It makes your defenders weaker, which I like. It makes them stunnable should they team attack, which I like. But it doesn't remove an attacker from the board, which I don't like. All right, so let's dance this dance momentarily. If I were to do something else, what would I do? Well, one case is I could say use Zorn to fairly safely attack Beast, as an example. If I do that, though, you can team attack with your 2 support row characters, and there is a risk that you have Titans Go, I think, is in that deck. Ready your team attackers. I think I have to hit Cap. That's awful. He's so good. Oh, he's so good. I wish Cap were less good. So how do I do it? Team attacking is no longer advantageous to me. I do have 1 power-up in my hand for Wolverine, you know, because you saw me put it there. So do I try to get Cap solo? Even a single team attack could be costly, because every single point of attack might matter, which is also stupid. Yeah, I think I have to go for Cap solo with Wolverine. Huzzah! I'm gonna power up. Classic Wolvie Cap.
I'm going to do something, but now I have to think. I wasn't supposed to have to think, Kyle.
I'm glad I'm making you think. I'm terrified that you have enough options that you're thinking.
I'm going to discard the Quinjet from my hand. The Quinjet's power, when discarded,
no.
is move and then power up target Avengers attacker or defender you control. Use this power only if the Quinjet is in your hand. Now, what I'm thinking about is whether I want to leave Cap where he is,
Oh, interesting.
or move him adjacent to someone else.
That's interesting. When it says move, can you leave a character where they are?
Move
I didn't
is
know that.
pick up a character and put down
Put
the
it
character
back
somewhere there's vacancy.
I never realized that.
So I can't, for example, put Captain America here.
Right.
I can put him here or here.
Or right back
Or,
where he was.
You know, somewhere over here if I wanted.
Right. Oh, that's interesting.
I think that I am going to move him.
Okay.
I think that I'm going to move him adjacent to Beast.
Oh my god. What is happening? I do have X-Corp Hong Kong, which allows me to give characters of cost 5 plus 1 attack for this turn. Never mind.
That will be sufficient.
I am stunned back, and puts me at 6.
-1.
At 6.
Oh god, why are things interesting now?
Yep. I'm feeling it.
So, the next thing that happens, and it's so dumb, and I wish it wasn't dumb, is I'm going to play Legendary Battles.
Oh.
While team attacking this turn, Avengers characters I control get +1 attack and cannot be stunned.
That's pretty huge.
I'm going to team attack. That's so weird. I'm going to team attack Zorn. I'm going to team attack Zorn with the Herald and Jarvis.
I'm really uncomfortable with that. Not being stunned back is a big deal right now. what I can do. And I can't stun anyone. Boy, that sucks. I really wish I could stun someone. I will take 3. Pointing at 3. What do I do with a long shot? Psylocke. And this card.
This is a funny game. It's a funny end to this game, I think.
Yep. All your characters are still reinforced. I think that's going to be... Ah, the unstunnability! It's stupid, because if Jarvis wasn't unstunnable, I think I'd have you. But Jarvis was unstunnable while team attacking my weenie character. Ah! And your characters are in general unstunnable while team attacking, is that right?
Yes.
That's awful. Well, my best play is to attack Beast.
That is so. It's gonna work. Take 1.
Stupid reinforcement. Stupid unstunnable Jarvis.
Now, I attack Archangel with Carol Danvers.
Yeah.
I have
Oh
a
no.
counterable Windstorm. Target character with a cost 2 or greater you control has flight this turn. That character gets +2 attack while attacking this turn.
Yeah, you got me.
And an
soundly.
additional +2 attack if you control another character with the same cost as that character.
You got me soundly. So you're attacking Angel. That's
That I'll throw in there.
sure. So your attack is 12. Undone by unstunnable Jarvis. Oi.
Well, it's not over.
That is mathematically true. No, that is technically true. Mathematically, that might not be true. Okay, so your attack is +5,
Yep.
which is a fairly high number. Fairly high. With that additional 5, I will take 12 damage. I don't think there's anything I can do there. I've got 1 defense on that, but I need to save it for when I attack the Cosmic Kazoo with Psylocke, which is what I do. So I take the 12, -9. And I attack Cosmic Kazoo and give myself 1 defense.
I think I've got nothing. Pretty sure.
Yeah. I also the nothing.
So as printed,
+1 defense.
+1 defense.
So I
So,
will
you're
not be
now
kept.
stunned, but I will take
4.
because I'm still reinforced.
Yeah.
So I got a -6. It was very close.
That was a close game. Unstunnable Jarvis. And Windstorm. Undone by Unstunnable Jarvis and Windstorm. Which you were able to play and get the full benefit from.
I'm sorry. I enjoyed that game.
It was a good game.
Like, yeah. I didn't think. I thought I had lost. I didn't think that was going to work. I had to be kind of lucky, and I was. You could you have countered Windstorm?
I'm required to have a mental character in combat.
In combat. Oh, okay.
Yeah, and I also must discard a mental card to do that, which I actually could not do.
My resource row is full. Like I drew. It was a very bad draw for this deck
Yeah.
again.
Yeah. Better, though. Definitely better than the
Well,
last.
I hit some of the linchpins instead of whiffing on them.
And I will say this. In this
I
matchup,
can't believe I drew Bumblebee.
that was
the turn I wanted
pretty
to
amazing.
search for.
That was pretty amazing. That particular game, I think this matchup is fightable if I specifically get an extreme maneuver to use on Carol Danvers, because I think because like
If you hit your early drops, I have trouble too, which you're good at.
yeah, it helps. It helps.
And
But
that game would not like. You would not be dead if you had the Blackbird.
that certainly
I
also
needed
would have
you,
helped.
like my whole last turn
Not having
relied
flight is a
on
big
you
deal,
not
yeah.
having flight.
Yep. No, you're
Or
right.
not having enough flight.
So there are a couple things I need, but I still think that like the tricky thing is my whole shtick is on turn 5. I recruit a 5-drop, and on 6 I recruit my other 5-drop with the Blackbird to
I'm
finish.
glad
it
we
up.
went for round 2 there. That was
Yeah,
I
that was a
really
good
enjoyed
match.
that one.
That was a good match. Well played. And you had to see it, so I have to give credit where it's due. It wasn't just a lucky draw, or unlucky, depending on whether or not you draw Bumblebee.
Well, I wasn't sure I was gonna win, but I was like,
But
oh,
you played it right.
if I put these, I
Team
can recruit a
attacking
bunch
with
of
Jarvis.
weenies in my front row and put the Cosmic Kazoo out there,
You
and then
team
it's really...
attacked a weenie character of mine with a flying, unstunnable Jarvis. And that was the correct play for some reason. This deck is a double A.
Count your deck.
Count your deck? The other one?
Yeah.
Where did
Well,
I
I'm
put
looking
it?
for my deck. Make sure there's 60 there.
It did feel...
It felt a little wrong.
felt a little wrong. I confess it. Now, where did I put it?
They're not there.
This does feel creepily light, so let's see here. If I have half a deck somewhere.
Yay, that was fun.
Maybe they're just crappy slaves. 40 cards. Yeah, this does feel like. It's light by precisely 5 cards, so it's not light by a massive amount, but 10%, so not trivial. Something is missing.
Is your Blackbird in there? Because I'll feel really bad about
There
that.
is
Okay,
a
so-
Blackbird. But yeah, I'm going to have to poke around and figure out where the rest of the X-Men went.
Now, it's
X-Men were-
entirely possible that I used them as alignment tests for our stream.
And I'll just draw them randomly.
Grabbed them off one deck and put them back on another deck.
You know, it's interesting you should say that, because if like I miscounted by 1 card, that would be 4 cards that it was shy, which is the number of alignment cards.
Well, so I just grab a handful.
Sure,
So
yeah.
and it's about 4.
That would be funny. I'll keep my eyes
So
open.
that could totally be my fault.
Yeah,
You know what?
that's right.
I need to take a bathroom break. Be
Yeah.
entertaining for
Yeah.
our audience for 2 minutes.
All right, entertaining for 2 minutes. I should be able to be entertaining. I'll innocently shuffle my deck. That will be amazingly entertaining. So this here object is an old knife sharpener that's not really good for sharpening knives anymore, but I have it. You can see here it has a side for coarse sharpening, and for fine sharpening you start with the coarse and you're able to work your way to the fine ceramic side. But because I need a new one, this doesn't really do much of anything except works as a slightly more hardcore version of the fidget spinner when you're sharpening your knife dramatically and enthrallingly. Yeah, so there you go, everyone. This is an old used Smith's knife sharpener. High quality products from Smith. There you go. All right, I'm going to return to my shuffling. I don't know how much of that Ian heard, but I'm sure he'll hear it when he goes through the stream later and be moderately amused. I'm hoping for moderate amusement. Not extreme amusement, just moderate would be sufficient. That's the sort of amusement that I provide. Moderate. Of the moderate variety. Ah, welcome back, Ian.
Really, you're yammering over there.
Everything is fine. I am a yambler. I'm a yamblin' man. That's why they wrote that song. Yamblin' man.
Did I say yambling?
It sounded like it.
No.
I hope that's what you said, but it was way better than...
Yammering. I said yammering.
Oh.
Or I meant to. I may have said yambling, but the intention was yammering. Yambling is a funny portmanteau of yammering and rambling.
Whenever anyone says portmanteau, for some reason I imagine a cheese. Like a fine portmanteau cheese.
Cheese and what?
Yeah.
Oh, I won that against all odds.
You
I
did.
should roll a die.
You should. I'll roll a die.
The outer.
50. I will start
I've
with
lost.
50 life this time.
Good choice.
Deck my plan. We're gonna go.
Nope.
Whoa. We're gonna go evens. I think this is an evens deck. So that's what we're
this
gonna
deck
do.
was next. I was thinking about this deck recently. Ooh. He said ominously.
That is ominous. I'm gonna keep, which is not something I do lightly.
Yep.
It's something I do very
You went
heavily.
odds, you said?
I went to evens.
Evens, you said?
Yeah.
I'm not going to be recruiting a one-drop at this moment.
Alright, well, I am going to put down a resource, but I too will not recruit a one drop.
Alright, let us proceed.
Sort of action that only chumps perform.
Oh, that's interesting.
Oh,
Let's-
you did the thing. Yeah. Okay. Alright.
I'm not drawing so strangely tonight. It doesn't matter in this deck, but it's strange.
Now it is my initiative, and I am going to recruit Ishmael Gregor, also known as Sabek, the Malevolent Marvel. So Ishmael Gregor Sabek, the Malevolent
Ishmael
Marvel.
Gregor?
Gargle. He's a 2/2 2-drop who has Vengeance. Whenever Ishmael Gregor Sabak Marvelous Marvel becomes stunned, target opponent loses 3 endurance.
Villains United.
It is.
It hasn't been a while.
It has been a little while. I was happy when I found them.
I've got KG Beast.
Cage Beast.
At the start of my attack step, target player exhausts already character controls. While KG Beast is here, I'm going to reveal that I have Beside Myself, which I may play only if I control an Arkham Inmates character.
Yeah.
Ongoing Insanity, whenever you draw one or more cards, flip a die. If you win the flip, draw an additional card. So I'm going to put a die here to remember to do that whenever I draw, and I'm going to roll it whenever I draw, and if the result is evens, I will draw an additional card.
I'm going to attack you for 2.
I'm going to take 3.
And then you're pinned for 3.
Yeah.
For those wondering, the most amusing thing there was Ian's expression. The second most amusing thing was his sound
I will
effect.
not draw an extra card. Oh, that's convenient. Next,
I sure didn't put down a resource last turn. I should have done that.
I will recruit Professor Emil Hamilton. Vengeance. Whenever Professor Emil Hamilton becomes stunned, I may KO a resource I control. If I do, search my deck for an ongoing plot twist, reveal it, and put it into my resource row.
Clever, clever. Very, very clever, clever. Clever, clever.
That should be interesting. No, I don't want to do that. That's dumb.
Professor becomes stunned. You may KO a resource you control. Right. Are they adjacent? Sorry.
That's what I'm going to do. Not adjacent. That's what I'm going to do.
Cool. I'm going to recruit from my hand the Calculator. The Calculator has return a character you control to its owner's hand. Target Villains United character you control gets +2/+2 this turn. Use this power only once per turn.
Please exhaust a rated character you control. Yep. I'm going to attack your 2-drop.
What? That will work. Oh, interesting. Now I can't. That'll work. I could. I will take... Your attack was 4.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry. So I will take 2 breakthrough, 2 foot stun. I will take 4.
I will take 5.
That's true.
So annoying.
I mean, I want to attack your dude, but you want me to attack your dude.
That's true.
And that's unfortunate. Got some stuff that's cool, but there's more to that. I'm gonna pass.
All right, I'll hit you for 4.
Okay, 4.
Then what?
I'll pass again.
Oh, okay. I do not draw an additional card.
Yeah. Sucks. I'm gonna play. Whose initiative is it? It's mine.
A terrible game.
Mine. I'm gonna play Baddest of the Bad as an additional cost to play Baddest of the Bad. Return a villain's United character you control to the center's hand to search for a villain's United character. Put it in your hand and shuffle your deck. It's a very, very costly character search. It's probably that character.
Well,
Did something not
I
go?
guess that's just done.
just don't call it. It's probably that card. I'm gonna make sure. Making sure it's that card. More and more looking like that card. Looking like gonna be that card. It's the card. It's Bizarro, whom I shall recruit. Bizarro's vengeance power is that when he becomes stunned, you gain 4 life. Get him, Bizarro. His other power is that he's big. Alright. We'll put Bizarro on my support row.
Okay, you have initiative.
Let's-
I understand what's going on here. I'll be recruiting a Firefly
Okay, yeah.
from my support row, and by my support row I mean my resource row. Firefly's power is... at the start of the combat phase, I may discard a card at random. If I do, Firefly gets +3 attack this turn.
At the start of the combat phase, you make that decision. Okay. Do we enter the combat phase?
Yeah.
Do you discard a card at random?
I think that I do not.
Okay.
I guess... Man... I guess that's the way it is. I guess that's the way it is.
Yup. Yup. Huh? Yes. And such. Bizarro.
I guess I should. Yeah, I should.
Then I may or may not do anything based upon the card that you discard. We'll select this card on the end.
Mad Hatter has discard power. I will not be firing. I can put him into play.
Oh.
1, 2. Get him in there.
And get him in there. Alright, so he's +3 attack for the turn. Well, when you put it that way, I'm still going to attack him with Bizarro. Or 11.
Reinforce him. Take 4.
And gain 4. So you are even. I, on the other hand, will take 4 and not gain 4.
Please exhaust your ready character control.
Yes. In response, I will exhaust the calculator to play Systematic Torture. As an additional cost to play Systematic Torture, exhaust the Villains United character you control to KO target stunned character. If you do, that character's controller loses 3 endurance. And then I don't have anyone to exhaust.
Okay.
I put my hands on my hips authoritatively, for those who couldn't see, which was everyone except for Ian.
You can't see. They're below the table.
Touche. Well, that's what I did.
I must pass.
I also pass.
Son of a...
Son of a...
Not working out for me so far.
Well, things are going to get weird soon.
Ooh, that I love.
Oh, I don't like that. Do not want...
Oh man, that's gonna be... This is gonna be such a turn. This turn is gonna be incredible.
You say that now. Just wait till you see what I do.
Well, it's my initiative, right?
True. True.
So I'm gonna recruit the Scarecrow.
Uh-oh.
When Scarecrow enters play, you may discard a card at random. Let's see. Gotta do it that way. If you do, return target character with a cost of 2 or less to its owner hand. Insanity, return target character with a cost of 3 or less instead.
Interesting.
So I will be returning the calculator to your hand.
Well, that's not fun. Card at random. We'll select this one on the end again. I like that end card.
Still haven't hit the useful ones. I'm very grateful. Getting thin. Pickings are getting thin.
Right, so you're returning the calculator man. So I have to think.
Calculator man.
Calculator man.
That's
Calculator
not his
man.
hero name.
He's like an auctioneer. God, I calculated one of himself. So I can return him to my hand to make Bizarro bigger. I guess that's the best thing to do. Do I have anything else that's really cool to do? No. So, okay, calculator is in my hand. But I have returned him to my hand in response to your targeting of him to make Bizarro +2/+2.
Okay.
That was a thing you did. That was a thing you did. I'm going to recruit. I'm going to put down a resource. That's the first.
This is not the card I thought it was. Changes things slightly. Not a ton.
Sure. Huh. I have a choice. I have a choice.
I have a dream.
We're gonna recruit the calculator.
Huh. That was not expected.
And Weather Wizard. When the Weather Wizard becomes stunned, the characters I control get +1/+1 this turn and have flight this turn.
You made this card relevant again. That's weird.
What now?
Now we enter the combat phase, and you
True,
must exhaust
true.
a ready character you control.
I'll exhaust the Weather Wizard.
You put put me in a very strange situation.
I feel you.
Can't possibly understand. I don't want to do that.
I don't know.
But I may have to.
I don't love it.
I don't know how else to do it.
I don't either. My draw is special.
I'd like to do that. So, Bizarro is what? He's modified
is.
by Weather Wizard's power.
For the turn, he is
Plus
+2,
two,
+2.
plus
We'll just
two.
remember he doesn't have counters on him. I'll use that.
Which is not ideal.
True. Mm-hmm.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
That's a good point, yeah.
I can't. This is so bad but necessary.
If you attack me with another flying Jarvis, I'll be pissed.
I think I need to do that.
What?
And it's so incredibly dumb. It's so dumb. It's the dumbest.
I'm sitting down. I love that with this board setup, you're having to ponder this much.
What the frick just happened?
Well, you bounced calculator to my hand, which meant that I had to recruit him in Weather Wizard.
And I guess I could just do it that way.
Sure. Now let's just ask the question, because it's on the board. It is assumed that this is a different instance of calculator who could potentially fire his power again, correct?
Of course.
Okay. Just making sure.
That's so dumb. Kyle, it's dumb.
I love it.
I have to do this for dumb things.
I love it. Bring the dumb. I'm ready.
I have to do this first. Man, that could have been so good, and it's not going to be because of what you did.
That means what I did was good.
Ongoing. Training day, this is. Ongoing. Free. Choose 2 different affiliations among characters you control. Cross over the affiliations this turn. Use only once per turn. I will choose a Revenge Squad and Arkham Inmates.
Oh, I don't like where this is going.
Obey or die. To play, stun a Revenge Squad character you
Oh,
control.
I really don't like where this is going.
Stun all characters with a cost of 2 or less.
Oh.
I really wanted to stun him, but that would also stun him.
Right. Let me think for
That's
a second.
why I was mulling. Like so many presidential
So it's-
investigators.
Okay, so the first thing you did was the team up.
Mm-hmm.
So then you could stun him, which you
Correct.
couldn't do. The second one says,
Stun
read
him.
it again.
To play, stun a Revenge Squad character you control. Insanity, stun all characters with a cost of 2 or less.
It's weird.
It's a weird game, man.
Yeah.
Where's my hand?
Oh,
here it is.
good question. It's getting even weird. So I take 2,
Yes.
but he is +1/+1, as is him for the turn, as Weather Wizard has his power.
Yes.
Okay.
Next,
I think the next part is more
Scarecrow
straightforward.
attacks Bizarro.
Burzaro.
For 10.
That is precisely my defense.
Let me make sure this is the plot twist. I think that it is. I meant to say resource.
I mean, odds are good. Let's be real. I don't think that there's anything amazing that I can do right now. I can return this character to my hand to make you do something.
So, calculator can return anyone, not just him.
Correct.
I see.
If you would like to reconsider,
No,
you
that's
can.
fine. No, I don't need to reconsider.
It's an insanity attack. I know you have attack pumps. I still think the right choice is to make you use those attack pumps. So I will. Who do I use it on? That's interesting. If I use the effect.
Actually, if you'll permit me, then
Yeah.
the proper play is to
team attack. I will permit. That's fine. Yeah. To just.
I thought it was whether wizard you had to return or calculator you had to
Yeah,
return.
that's fine. Just to reread it, it's return a character you control to its owner's hand, and target character gets +2/+2 for the turn. I can only use it once per turn. So, now that you've done that, does it change anything? Maybe not. I will attempt to deal damage to Scarecrow.
Okay.
I believe is the course.
I will take effectively 1.
I do take, that's right, and I take 4. It's gone. So now
we are here again.
Now we are here again. Here is not a place I particularly want to be. Oh, I might have to do something bizarro. I think that's the right choice. That's stupid. You're 30. If I stun him, you get something. I potentially can deal you a fair amount of damage. If I pop my dudders, get you for a lot of damage. You get to look for something. Looking for something in insanity is very strong.
I have something in mind.
I
But
pop.
I may browse.
I pop Weather Wizard. It's good damage. It's real good. 8 points of damage. 8 whole points of damage. It's a lot of damage.
Boy, you have a lot of cards in here.
I sure do. I got another systematic torture. I will attempt to KO Scarecrow and hitting you for 3.
Oh boy.
And exhaust my massively pumped character.
No. Oh boy.
Get him, Bizarro.
Help a brother out. Yay! I got an extra card. Finally.
It has been done. I don't like ooh. I don't like it. That sure is something I just did. We're gonna do that. I think is the best card to put there. Now it is my initiative. Cool. You are at 27. I'm going to do something I think a little unexpected. I'm going to recruit Count Vertigo. Count Vertigo is a 2/1 character. I can exhaust... I can return him to my hand to exhaust target character. I can only do that during my attack step. I'm going to recruit Black Adam. Whenever Black Adam becomes stunned, target character gets -3/-3 this twain. You can decide my formation here. There's 2 avenues for this. One of which involves Black Adam being in the front, the other of which does not. I almost want to do it this way. Probably have so much attack. That's the thing I gotta be wary of. Insanity has some big attack. What does that avail me? What does that avail me? I think it is this. On the board currently, you don't have a way to give flight. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we'll form like this and see what happens.
If I recruit a big character, I exhaust the big character. What happens if I don't recruit a big character? That. That's weird. That's a weird play that I think I must make.
I agree.
But if I do recruit a big character, you will pop the 1-drop and you'd have to pay a resource to get him back into play. That still might be the right play. Okay. Oh, that's why I can't do that. No. What did I play as my resource? Oh, weird. Okay. I can do it if I play the right resource. Which has to be this. Alright, we're getting there.
We're getting
Let's figure this out.
There's been a surprisingly technical game.
I'm going to recruit the Riddler.
The Riddler?
At the start of my attack step, I may discard a card at random. If I do, exhaust target visible character. And I'm also going to recruit Anarchy. Whenever Anarchy attacks an exhausted character, that character can't ready this turn. And then, I'm going to play Screed. Target character gets -2 defense while defending this turn. I don't need this yet. I do it at the start of my attack step. I'm not going to do it.
I will attempt to not know you have Screed.
Excellent.
You've got 2 exhausters on the board.
I don't. Yes, I do.
We got this.
Psych.
We're on the same page. How do I deal you tons of damage?
You don't.
Aw. But I...
Nope.
But otherwise I can't do nothing.
I only have 2 games tonight. It's going to be funny.
Yeah. Anarchy attacks someone they can't ready next turn. That's what he does.
They can't ready this turn.
This turn. So they won't be ready next turn.
That's correct. That'd be a weird target character can't ready next turn.
Yeah.
I'm glad they don't have powers.
Oh god, that'd be so awful. So what I do is I'm gonna attack.
Yeah?
He gets you an ongoing plot twist?
Yes.
What are the odds that you've got a
In an insanity deck?
specific card?
Not very good.
Yeah.
But you never know.
Yeah, you are playing Insanity. Oh, God, I do. I have to roll the dice? Oh, you could have a thing that I don't want you to have. There's one thing that gives me immense pause right now. You're at 27.
You're at 27.
I'm going to deal you some damage. The KG Beast exhausts a character of my choice.
Mhm.
Riddler is a character of your choice, but you
it
must
be
discard.
visible.
And
it
it
must
must
discard to do it, yes. And Count Vertigo is any character?
Count Vertigo is he must be returned to his hand to exhaust target character.
Any character.
So he's the returner, and I exhaust anyone of my choosing. Calculator is return anyone of my choosing for +2/+2 the turn, but I can only do it once per turn. And you're at 27. That's so weird. Black Adam is going to attack KG Beast or Riddler. Discarding a random card. How many cards are you going to just say? Sorry.
3.
3. But you would target Bizarro, who's the bulk of my damage, so I've got to go for Riddler. Okay. Targeting Riddler. I'm going to read a card, and then we can proceed, but I need to read a card to myself first, which is not that card or that card. Yep, that's what we're doing. I am attacking Lovable Riddler with Lovable Black Adam.
I think I'm going to take 7. Boy, that's costly. Now, I'm going to ask you to exhaust it. Well, first you should decide whether you want to use Count Vertigo.
Right. Weird thing is I may not. That's strange.
It is a little strange.
I guess the answer is yes. I will pop him and exhaust guy with flame. Neil Hamilton.
Why are you making this so difficult?
It's not easy. It's not easy to make it difficult. Do you like meaty mushrooms? I'm just wondering.
Yes, I think so.
Okay. Just wondering.
This is not the time. I'm going to stun Anarchy.
Right. Against Black Widow, right?
Yes.
Or, Black Adam.
Boy, she puts on some
So Black Adam
muscle.
does not recover this turn.
Is not ready this turn.
It's not ready. I'll get that right eventually. Right. I mean, I gotta swing at KG Beast. I can't turn down all that tempting damage. I'm gonna attack him.
Do have all locked up.
That is reinforcement.
Target attacker can't cause breakthrough this attack while attacking an Arkham Inmates character, defender, that's not adjacent to any characters.
Right. That was the card I was worried about, was reinforcement.
Now we're here
And
again.
now we're here again. God darn it. Oh, man.
I'm so angry that you haven't let me stun him once this whole game.
You're right. Yep. Yep.
It's turn 6. It's the end of turn 6.
Yep.
You haven't stunned my 3-drop, Kyle.
That's true. The worst part is, like, if I attack now, straight up, I take 3 damage, you take 4 damage and get to search for something?
Yep.
That's a real big gain for you.
Maybe.
I mean, a net gain of 1 life, but you get to search for an ongoing plot twist of your choice in an insanity deck? My book, that's a gain, which means my only course of action is to pass, and you have no idea how ridiculous that option is, but it's ridiculous.
Yay.
Oh my word.
What are you doing?
I promise you it's not like what my decks do. It is your initiative. Everything is fine. It's all fine. Not worried about it. Nothing is wrong. Oh, it's so good, Ian. I don't know how this game's gonna turn out, but it's entertaining.
That's no good. That's no good. I guess I gotta do it.
True.
But it's no good.
I hear you.
I'm going to recruit Crime Doctor. And Batzaro.
Oh,
Batzaro can't attack. Insanity. Batzaro can't not attack instead.
It could be your undoing.
It might be. I don't know what's going on here.
I'm going to recruit these 4 characters. As though I were playing Versus System, we all remember Weather Wizard. He, when stunned, gives all of my characters +1/+1. I'm also recruiting Ishmael Gregor, whom, when stunned, deals you 3 damage. I'm also going to recruit Cheetah. When she's stunned, characters I control get +1 attack, and Count Vertigo. What now?
Now, I play Scream. Target character gets -2 defense while defending this turn and can be attacked as though it were visible.
I'm with you. I'm with you.
Target the calculator.
I thought you might. What else you got? It does last for the turn?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's pretty useful.
At the start of the combat phase, I'm going to discard a card at random.
I will select this card.
You have selected Penguin. Whenever the penguin's discarded, you may remove it from the game. If you do, return target Arkham Inmates character from your KO'd pile to your hand. Is there anybody in here worth returning? Maybe Scarecrow. Ironically.
In the current context, he's pretty useful.
I'll put Scarecrow back in my hand. And I will exhaust
Any visible character?
Bizarro. Yes.
I don't need attack damage to beat you.
I'm going to exhaust both of the 2-drops by returning Crime Doctor to my hand.
Aight. And then?
Then I'm going to attack the calculator with Batzaro.
I'm gonna return the calculator to my hand.
Thought you might. Batzaro can't not attack. That's so annoying.
Yep. And I will do
You're
so.
going to stun my 3-drop this turn. You have no choice, bucko.
You say that. I'm going to give Cheetah +2/+2.
Okay.
I'm then going to exhaust Batzaro.
Yay. I don't have to attack with him.
Then... This puts me in a predicament. Plus, I'm going to set this here so I don't forget. Oval balls. A couple ways I can do this.
That is not a thing you say in this situation. You have a 1-drop.
My whole giant team is exhausting. The 1/1 drop.
Oh, Jesus, Kyle. Jesus.
So I'm going to attack a character. That's what I'm going to do. Is it Bizarro or Riddler?
I don't have Bizarro. I have Batazaro.
Batzarro, pardonnez-moi. It's probably Riddler. You do have a life advantage. I just got to deal you a bunch of damage. And then on next turn, also deal you a bunch of damage and
Gravely
not
concerned that dealing me a bunch of damage is your 1-drop attacking my biggest character.
die. Second biggest.
My biggest ready character.
Sure. So...
Gravely concerned.
So Cheetah will attack Riddler.
Okay.
Start with that. It's simple enough.
Sure.
I am going to play Blinding Rage. Target attacker you control gets +4 attack, -4 defense this attack.
Okay. That's it? That's not terrible. So you are 8 attack.
Yeah, let me think. Let me think if that is it. You could have reinforcement, but you aren't going to have another of that same reinforcement. So if nothing else happens, you'll take 5 damage.
That's true.
And the Riddler would be stunned.
That's also true.
Can I keep you from stunning me back? I am -4 defense now.
Why? Why would you want me not to stun your 1-drop with 0 defense?
Well, it makes it harder for you to stun Hamilton. Yeah, well, we'll call that a wrap. So I will deal you the 5 if nothing else happens.
Well,
And
yeah,
then-
I'll take 5.
And I take 1. My team is +1 attack for the turn.
Okay. I attack Bizarro. I've got to reveal some stuff to do it.
True.
Boy, it's actually not as powerful as I thought. Well, that's the way I gotta do it. Let's see what happens. Alright. So the first thing I do is I play
Oh, Graveyard. Maybe
Graveyard of Solitude. I will give him +2 attack. Then,
How does that work?
plus X, sorry, I should read my stuff. Activate target Revenge Squad attacker you control gets +1 attack this attack for each ongoing plot twist you control. So that is 2.
Not enough.
I will then reveal that I have Blackgate Prison. Activate discard a card to random target Arkham Inmates attacker or defender you control gets +3 attack this attack, and I will use Training J to team up again.
So that gives you +3.
Yes. Got Scarecrow back out of my hand.
Take that. So you are plus how much?
5.
That is a lot of attack.
So I'm hoping it's enough. I wouldn't say it's a lot.
If you succeed in the stun, I will take 2 breakthrough. 4 for the stun, that's 6 damage. You will actually gain a life out of that exchange. Is unfortunate. There's Cheetah. Do I care? I guess you're losing a character unless you have a recovery card. No. Nope. Yep. Now I'm going to take 6. 23.
Teo Matt Hagen Gain 1 life effectively. Search my deck for a thing.
Right. Finally get to do it.
I don't even think I have to reveal it. I probably should.
You probably, if it's a card type, you gotta reveal it usually.
Reveal it? Okay.
Like search for a ongoing plot twist, you must reveal to demonstrate that it is a...
So, it's
What you
probably...
play.
It's probably this. Let me do a quick once-over and see if anything is more. Nope, that is clearly it. I'm going to go get Bizarro Brawl. Ongoing insanity free. Target attacker or defender gets +1 attack this attack for each ongoing plot twist I control.
Once per turn?
Once per turn.
Attacker or defender.
Mm-hmm.
That's a really, really good card.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a better version of Graveyard of Solitude.
It is. It's an insanity card.
But it is a dedicated insanity card. Ugh. Well, I kept you from it for a long time.
You sure did.
I will lose Cheetah. It's my initiative going into 8, however. That's going to be really, really
I
important.
think that's going to be my... Hey, my resource row is entirely face up. That's interesting.
That is not...
Yay! Let's keep these coming. I'm digging this.
Well, it's going to be this way. I'm going to stack up a few cards here just to keep stuff on stream. None of those have continual effects. That's my initiative. What do? I did put down a resource. I'm going to recruit Count Vertigo. And then I'm going to recruit Alexander Luthor with his boost. When he comes into play, draw 2 cards. Boost 1. When he comes into play, you may put up to 2 Villains United character cards, each with a cost of 3 or less, from your hand into your front row. So I have 2 questions. Does that overcome the uniqueness rule?
It does.
And when I put a character into play, into my front row, if that card is concealed only, for example, do I get my pick of zones, basically?
Not if it's concealed only, no.
Sorry, okay, yes, good, that clarifies. So they still follow their own card rules when entering play in this context. Put up to 2 Villains United character cards, each with a cost of 3 or less. I'm going to choose the calculator and the calculator.
Oh, God.
And then for formation, he does not have range. What am I going to do with this heap?
I wish I kept the, I wish I kept Emil Hamilton. That's kind of funny.
I'm just hopeful you don't have a way to get Scarecrow back. I know you got a way to get Clayface back because it's Clayface. This is... like that.
Don't think I can get through this turn. I don't think I can kill you harder than you kill me this turn, either.
I have an advantage. I'm not knowing what you have, I am not 100% confident I can get you. I got a lot of firepower, you've got some exhaust. You have a lot of attack yourself, though, so I'm not... Any opening I give you is like an extra 10 damage I take from all your buffifiers.
that's not enough. Boy, I wish I drew an uncurved character for a while.
If it makes you feel any better, I didn't draw anything past 5 at all until I top
Yes,
deck
but
Luther
your
on 8.
low-cost characters are really good.
They're super useful. Well, and I benefit a little bit because when I have a lot of characters in play, I get to fire all my stuff goes to my hand.
Boy, I wish I still had this. Playing that at the time is a terrible plan, it turns out. Who knew?
Yeah, the sort of the funny novelty is until this turn, these were the characters I drew this game. And I've been playing them turn after turn after turn. And finally, I drew Luther, who let me play those same characters in mass.
What do I do? Man, I wish I got a 7 or my 8. Like, any of my 7s or any of my 8s are really good.
Luther's technically a 7. He's better on 7.
I gotta stick to... Oh, it's so bad. It's so bad. It's so bad.
It's so bad. It's so bad. I had a bottle of water earlier today.
I had a bottle of water.
I don't know where it went.
I have to recruit the Joker and Crime Doctor.
Joker's not bad. He did something awful.
Joker's power is Insanity. Discard a card at random. Target Arkham Inmates character you control gets +1/+1 this turn.
How many cards do you have in your hand?
2. 2 cards in my hand.
And is that how you form?
It's gotta be.
That is a
Stupid
very,
reasons.
very strange formation.
Very strange formation.
So I'm pretty sure I can keep you from killing me. I'm not sure I can kill you. So what do I do?
That's funny. I feel exactly the opposite. I'm pretty sure you can kill me, and I'm not sure I can kill you more. But I'm gonna try.
I appreciate that. So the first step is Luther is going to attack a character you control. It's going to be Riddler or Crime Doctor because I have to pull your attack from the table. Or, pardon me, your exhaust from the table. Because the only way I kill you is if I get the highest number of attacks possible. That suggests Crime Doctor. But if I hit Riddler, Crime Doctor is any 2 target characters or 2 visible, any constraints?
2 target characters.
Alright, is real good. And he's target visible,
Yes.
but you must discard for. You're so boisterous. Why do you have Crime Doctor out in front like that? It's terrifying. Why would you do this? So, Graveyard of Solitude can only be used on attack.
Mm-hmm.
The other card can be used at any time.
Correct.
How many ongoing plot twists do you currently have?
3.
So you can give anyone +3 on attack or defense. You can give anyone +6 attack when attacking.
Correct. More if you consider the Blackgate Prison.
Right. Can that be used on attack or defense?
Yes.
And that's another 3.
Yes.
It does require a discard.
That's true.
There's a lot of things to keep track of here. A lot of things going on. If I do that, you will do that. Of course. You wouldn't do that. It'd be ridiculous. You'd be a madman. How much damage would I deal with this particular play? See, I have to do more than just defeat you, though. I have to defeat you by enough that Bizarro won't help you win. That is also a consideration. It is not a trivial additional feat. You don't have flight on anyone currently. You don't have a means of giving anyone flight that's obviously on the board. Do I not attack with Luther? uncomfortable with that possibility. Okay. You have no defensive buffs on the board, is that correct? That I can see.
Yes.
So I have to not attack with Luther. I have to attack Crime Doctor with Weather Wizard. For 2. I need to give myself 1, which I can do. How do I do that? How do I do that? It's probably that. Or it's that. Do I team attack Crime Doctor? That seems absurd. Might be right. Whoa. I'm gonna team attack Crime Doctor.
Alright, I will deal the damage to Weather Wizard. He will not be stunned, right? His defense is 3. Is it not?
That is correct. Yes, you are correct.
I will take 2.
I will exhaust Joker by popping Count Vertigo.
I have to make to try is fatal.
Do you exhaust someone with Riddler? You do have that option.
Considering it. Just because friggin' calculators.
You don't hear that every day. Friggin' calculators.
Well, I'll make my best play, but it's a losing play. Which is... So, here's a question for you. Can I put something on the chain? So, like, the start of the attack step happens. Riddler's trigger happens.
I'm with you.
So, that's not an effect, though. So, I have to discard to put something on the chain.
Right.
And then, if I want to play something after, it has to be after the discard. Or I have to discard to put his effect on the chain.
There's not a way to, like...
So,
Yeah,
this was the correct way to play this turn.
Okay.
I'm fudging it because I'm about to lose anyway.
That's okay.
So I'm going to discard a card at random to exhaust Black Adam.
Okay. So I'll not exhaust him yet until we've selected the card to discard, because that happens first. You have to do the payment. I actually saw one of them, so... I was like this.
I don't need either of them, so... I have lost our access.
Okay, now he is exhausted. That's
Yep.
correct, yeah.
So my best play, then, is to play Fatal Weakness. Play only during my attack step, and to play stun 2 Revenge Squad characters in my front row. KO target character if its cost is less than the characters you've stunned this way.
Interesting. That was...
I will KO Luther.
Goodbye, Luther. I guess I pop him to my hand in response.
Right.
To put, using this calculator to give 2/2 to Bizarro.
And I attack Bizarro with Bat Zorro, whom you also pop and then win. And I can pump his attack by a million, but
right,
because you pop him and win.
Right. I guess probably the best play is to allow the stun, because I can soak the damage and I get the counter stun and then I just attack you.
Sure.
I think that's
We-
actually the
was-
math.
So we'll run the math on it.
Sure.
Um,
So if you do the pump, which I would
I get
assume
plus
you
9.
trigger, right?
so my attack is 18.
So if I do nothing, 18 is a non-trivial amount. I would take 9. I would take 13 damage, which puts me at 10. You gain 4, but you are counter-stunned, and then I just swing for 10. I was actually pretty close. There's like one big attack away. The secret is to recruit Count Vertigo, annoyingly. It's very useful.
The safer play was to pop Bizarro. If you pop
Yeah.
Bizarro and pass, you win.
You were at 2, right?
That was negative.
Ah. I still have to attack you because your character would ready. So I would need to attack Bizarro with my calculators.
Oh, okay. Sure.
But you're right, there's still a net gain of 1 there.
That was a weird draw for these guys. Like, I had some good early stuff, and I couldn't get anything at the end of the game. And I had so many opportunities.
Well, this was very weird because, like, I had 4 plot twists in my hand, and these were all plot twists, but I couldn't ever find a good time to use them. But I had the fuel, which was the weenies that I continually recruited. Because
nothing was coming either. I don't know what was going on there.
Yeah, it was a very odd draw for me as well. That'll be an interesting one where, you know, in the replay, it'll be interesting for me to kind of observe what you're recruiting with a higher fidelity, and to have you watch, I think, at a higher fidelity what I was recruiting, because it was a one where I was like so focused on my own weird board state, I don't think I realized how weird yours was.
Well, it wasn't weird other than I was missing some drops and also purposely underdropping a couple of times because of your friggin' God, that one drop is so awful. Count Vertigo. What a pay a resource point, exhaust a character.
It must be on my attack step, which I'm not saying radically negates his usefulness, but yeah, it's pay a resource point on my attack step to exhaust a character.
Does, so
it is.
It's the same thing. He's pay 2 resource points, exhaust
Exhaust
2
2 characters.
But it's not fair when you do it, Kyle.
Can Crime Doctor also only fire on your days? Yep, you're right. You're right. Crime Doctor is like 2 Count Vertigos. That is kind of hilarious. I had not noticed that. I am amused. Those were strange games, but entertaining, I think.
It was entertained all night.
And we did split. Except for the first game. The first game, the one that was 2 minutes long, was terrible. That was not a good game.
But I am tired. We should bid our audience good night. Thanks for sticking around with us if you did, and if not, thanks for trying.
Yep, thanks for giving it your best.
And we'll see you in 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
Good night, all.
Good night. That was good times. It was funny because you usually complain a little about Vertigo, which I understand. He's quite the nuisance. But it never occurred to me that that's exactly what Crime Doctor does, except times 2. At twice the cost. But I often complain about Crime Doctor.
Yeah, no.
So it's like, it's a complaint-worthy.
I realized I was being hypocritical.
Mechanic. I don't know if they have ever, if that matchup has occurred in which you have gotten Crime Doctor that way. To have that precise Crime Doctor versus Vertigo, like showing each other the reflection for a minute there. Because I'm always thinking, how do I deal with Crime Doctor? I'm glad that you beat me to it, because if much more time would have passed, I probably would have complained about Crime Doctor and you would have had to point out Vertigo. So I'm glad you did all of that for me.
Let me not forget to bring this home. This lives here now.
Yeah, you're definitely going to want to bring it. Is that Titans there?
Yeah. What are you doing? Are we still streaming? Are we still